you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Mrs. Bridegan.
Good afternoon.
Would you introduce yourself to our jury?
My name is Kirsten Bridegan.
And Ms. Bridegan, are you the widow of the deceased victim in this case, Jared Bridegan?
I am.
I'm going to start with a couple questions into your background, okay? Where are you originally from?
I was born in California, but raised most of my life in the Seattle, Washington area.
And what's your educational background?
I have a bachelor's degree.
What brought you to Jacksonville, Florida?
Jared, we had met on a dating app when I was living in Charlotte, North Carolina. And when we decided to get married, I moved down here to be with him and the kids.
So let's get a little bit more information about that. What year did you meet Jared Bridegan?
Early 2017.
And at the time you were living in Charlotte?
I was.
And you all developed a relationship. Tell the jury very briefly how it was you came to get married and ended up here in Jacksonville.
So like I said, we met on a dating app, and then he drove 7 hours up to Charlotte to take me on a first date. We spent basically an entire day together on that first date until he drove home, and then we just kept doing long distance and FaceTiming and until we decided to get engaged and then get married later that year.
When you met him, did you know that he had previously been married?
I did.
And did you know that he had children from that marriage?
I did.
Before you got married, did you have the chance to meet them and get to know them?
I did. We spent a lot of time after he and I had kind of established a relationship, spending time with his kids to make sure that that would be a good fit for all of us.
So after you and Jared were married, you moved here to Jacksonville, Florida. And where in Jacksonville did you live?
We moved into a home in Nocatee that he had already owned when we got married, and then we later moved a few minutes down the road just outside of Nocatee.
And did you have children with Mr. Bridegan?
I did. We had two daughters.
And what are their names and ages?
Bexley Bridegan, who is currently 7, and London Bridegan, who just turned 5.
I want to ask you a little bit about the time leading up to your husband's death. Specifically, I want to ask you about your co-parenting relationship with Shanna Gardner and a man named Mario Fernandez, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know Shanna Gardner and Mario Fernandez?
I do.
When you walked into court today, did you see Mr. Fernandez?
I did.
Can you identify him for the record by where he's sitting and an article of clothing that he's wearing?
He is sitting to the right of me wearing a gray suit and a reddish tie.
May the record reflect the witness has identified the defendant.
Yes.
When you first married Jared, was he still involved in litigation from his divorce and leading into child custody issues with Ms. Gardner?
Yes, they were arguing, I believe, about child support around the time of our wedding.
And when did you get married?
In October 2017.
At the time you got married, was Ms. Gardner married to Mario Fernandez?
She was not.
And had you ever met Mario Fernandez before then?
I had not.
At some point, did Ms. Gardner marry Mr. Fernandez, to your knowledge?
Yes, I remember we got a text while in church letting us know that they were married now.
Can you explain to the jury, from the time that you and Jared got married up until his death, what your agreement was with Ms. Gardner regarding sharing custody of Jared's children?
So we had 50-50 custody, so it was every other week, 1 week with us, 1 week with her and him. And then there was a date night once a week on the off week. So if we didn't have the children, we'd have a date night with them. And if we had the children, then Shanna and Mario would have a date night with them on that week.
The jury is going to get the opportunity to look at the filings from the family law case. Were you involved in any of the litigation between Mr. Bridegan and Ms. Gardner?
Yeah, I don't think I was named in most of them, but we did work together on all of that.
What types of issues were your family litigating with Ms. Gardner in regards to the children?
There's all sorts of things. It was where they went to school after Ms. Gardner and Mr. Fernandez moved addresses. It was who would pay for medical expenses, especially an oxygen machine that my stepson needed for his health. There was a lot of things that were litigated.
Could you describe what the co-parenting relationship was like between the four of you? Would you consider it civil, amicable, petty?
It was pretty terrible.
What do you mean by that?
There was absolutely no trust, so everything was in writing, text, email. We did not speak in person, like at school events, didn't do phone calls. We felt that everything needed to be in writing so that it could be shown, like there was no miscommunication there.
Was any of that reflected or would be reflected in the court docket for the family law case?
It could be.
How were you hearing about, or where was the information coming from that was letting you know that there were problems with the children going back and forth between the homes?
Emails, texts, just not agreeing on things, then it ended up in court quite a few times.
Did you and Jared ever talk to the children about any of these issues with Ms. Gardner and Mr. Fernandez?
We tried our hardest not to. Sometimes they would bring up things to us that they had told us had been spoken to by the other side, and we would address it. But we tried to keep that stress off of their shoulders.
But were there times when you and Mr. Bridegan had discussions with Ms. Gardner and Mr. Fernandez, back and forth, vice versa, whichever, of the children telling them something about you all, or you all hearing something from them about them from the children?
Yes, many times.
And you mentioned that everything was in writing. Did you or Mr. Bridegan speak with Ms. Gardner or Mr. Fernandez in person or by phone, or was everything in writing?
There might have been, just casual remarks at a doctor's office or a school event, but we really tried not to have verbal communication.
When you went to school events, describe for the jury how that interaction was between yourself and Mr. Bridegan and Mr. Fernandez and Ms. Gardner.
When it was something where all four of us were at, it was very tense. You could just feel the tension. Jared, he would kind of retreat into himself and be quiet and not want to make eye contact. So it was not a comfortable experience ever.
Were you all able to co-parent such that you could attend parent-teacher conferences together, doctor's appointments together, school events together?
We tried our best not to. We had separate parent-teacher conferences. There would be doctor's appointments where we were there, dentist appointments when they would come to just be there when it was on our week. There was one specific doctor's appointment for our stepson where they were going over details of some medication where all four of us were there to make sure we're on the same page as far as his care. But typically we tried to keep those separate.
Was there ever a point in time where the co-parenting relationship was improved or better, or was it generally always tense and difficult?
There were little moments here and there where it was kind of oddly calm, like just kind of waiting for something else to drop. But I would say the vast majority was pretty tense.
When you had your own children, starting with Bexley and then London, did that cause any kind of improvement or difference in the relationship with your co-parents?
I personally felt that it made it worse. I felt like after that, the things that my stepkids would come home saying, it kind of intensified as far as the negativity they were hearing.
And to be fair, some of that negativity was also coming from your side towards them.
Yeah, we did not like each other.
Okay. Tell me about you mentioned the custody agreement. Was that something that everybody was on board for, 50-50 custody?
No. There was one specific thing that was a pretty contentious point where Shanna had wanted to allow overnights with step-parents, specifically Mr. Fernandez, without her present, and we just were not comfortable with that and fought back really hard. Even saying, I will not get alone overnights with the kids to make sure that he doesn't get overnights with the kids, and that was a big one that we fought over time and time again.
Before his death, were you and Jared interested in or attempting to increase your share of custody of the twins?
We were not.
To your knowledge, were you involved in any litigation, or did you have any indication that Ms. Gardner was attempting to get more share of custody of the twins?
There were some things that my stepdaughter had told us that...
Response.
I can rephrase it.
Okay.
Without saying what your stepchildren told you, did you and Mr. Bridegan speak with an attorney or take any steps based on an indication that you might have to fight a claim for more custody on the part of Ms. Gardner?
Same objection, Your Honor, until there's some kind of proffer, not because of what she heard to extract. We have to do that outside of
Let me see you at sidebar. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mrs. Bridegan, you can answer the question. Let me re-ask it. Without saying what the children talked to you about or your conversations, leading up to Jared's death, were you and Jared making arrangements and preparations for a potential, I won't say battle, but litigation regarding a custody claim by Ms. Gardner?
We were.
That includes speaking to your family law attorneys,
Yes.
gathering documentation.
Yes.
Okay. Leading up to Jared's death, were you also making arrangements for Jared's daughter, your stepdaughter, to be baptized in the Mormon Church?
Yes, she had expressed a desire to do so.
And did you and Jared, were you practicing members of the Mormon Church before his death?
We were.
And were you taking her to services, or is that what you call them, services?
Yes. Yeah, we were.
Okay. And were you helping her prepare for the baptism, making sure that she had the appropriate outfit, the appropriate classes or training or whatever it was she needed to do in order to get baptized?
We were. In our church, children are usually baptized at the age of 8, and she was 9. And we just wanted to make sure she knew what that meant, what a baptism means, what it means to make that decision for her life. So yes, we were talking about it at home. She was receiving what they call lessons, like just going over, the beliefs and everything. And she and I had talked about picking out a dress, and then she actually ended up going shopping for one with her mom.
Okay. And did you and Jared have, without saying what it was, correspondence regarding her decision to be baptized?
Between the two of us?
Between yourself and Jared and Ms. Gardner and Mr. Fernandez?
Yes, we did.
Was there back and forth between the two sets of co-parents regarding her decision to be baptized?
Yes, there was.
And do you remember how close in time before Jared's death that back and forth correspondence was between yourself and Mr. Bridegan and Ms. Gardner and Mr. Fernandez?
I believe it was the month or two leading up to his death.
I want to ask you, go back to date night.
Okay.
Was date night something that you all agreed on in writing?
Yeah, it was part of the parenting plan.
And what was the schedule for date night?
So it was Wednesday nights on the week that the parent A didn't have the child, then parent A would get Wednesday night, date night. And it was always Wednesday evenings. The time itself shifted slightly, like a few months before Jared died because of, am I allowed to say names? Or just step?
Since we're talking about minor children, for purposes of the record, you can refer to them by their initials. So I'll ask you that. Jared's children with Ms. Gardner, are male and female children. We're going to call them A, B, and LB. Are those their initials?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So the time shifted slightly because AB was now in a different gymnastics schedule.
Where did she do her gymnastics?
At a facility just a few minutes down the road from our home.
In Nocatee?
Just outside of Nocatee.
How long had date night been a regular routine between the co-parents, parents A and parents B?
I believe the entire time of my marriage to Jared, and I believe since the divorce.
So several years.
Yes.
And was it always Wednesdays in the evening?
Yeah, as far as I can recall, it was always Wednesdays.
Did you participate in date night?
I did up until the birth of our second daughter, and then postpartum, baby sleep schedule just made it a little bit difficult, and so Jared would take our daughter Bexley with him on date nights with the twins.
And you mentioned the birth of your second daughter. When was your second daughter born?
In August of 2021.
And so in the months leading up to Jared's death in February of 2022, were you attending date night?
I was not.
Did Bexley go with Jared to every date night?
Yes.
I want to talk about February 16th, 2022. Was that a date night?
It was.
And how did you all make the plans for what you would do on date night? Did you coordinate with the other parents, or did you just pick up the kids and do what you all wanted to do with them?
Yeah, typically there wasn't any coordination. It was just, this is the time you pick them up, you do whatever you want to do, and then the drop-off time was the same.
For date night, how did the drop-off and pick-up work? Did you go ring the doorbell, hand the children off?
No, we typically just pull up to the driveway of the other home, text here, and the kids would run out and get in the car, and then drop off. You pull up and just make sure the kids get inside.
And that was vice versa, both sides is how it worked.
Yes.
And you said text. Did you have a group text with yourself, Mr. Bridegan, Ms. Gardner, and Mr. Fernandez?
Yes, we did.
And is that where all the written communication regarding the kids happened?
That and email.
So on February 16th, 2022, what had you been doing the day leading up to that evening's date night?
I believe I had taken our two youngest to the store. We had done some chalk outside on the sidewalk. It was just a pretty average day. Jared had been working from home, so he was inside most of the time. Yeah, that's as much as I can remember right now.
And that evening, did Mr. Bridegan leave your residence in Nocatee to go to the scheduled date night?
Yes, he did.
Was there any change in the schedule that night in particular?
No. Mm-mm.
What vehicle did he drive to date night?
We had two vehicles. He typically drove well, I want to say always, but there might have been a time he didn't. But typically it was the black Volkswagen Atlas we had.
And what other type of vehicle did you have?
We had a Chevy Suburban.
And who normally drove the Suburban?
Whoever had all of the kids. So that was our big family car. But when we didn't have everybody in the car, we drove the Atlas.
And when he went on date night, did Jared typically take that Atlas?
Yes.
So when Jared left for date night, what did you do that evening?
I was at home. I put our daughter London to bed. My parents were over that night. We were watching some sort of show after she was in bed. Just normal evening at home.
Did you have any communication with your husband that night while he was at date night?
I did, and AB was also texting me from his phone during date night.
Did you know where they were going to eat dinner that night?
I believe AB told me.
While she was there, she let you know what restaurant they were at?
Yeah, I believe so.
But you did not know prior to Jared leaving what their plans were that evening?
No, he didn't typically make plans ahead of time.
So it's just spur of the moment, what he was feeling like.
Yeah.
Did you know what time he picked the children up based on that group text that you shared with Mr. Bridegan, Mr. Fernandez, and Ms. Gardner?
Yeah, there would have been a here text in that group chat.
And while you were getting texts from Mr. Bridegan and from AB, was there anything unusual in their communications that caused you to be nervous or upset or think something was wrong prior to the actual homicide?
Not at all.
Did anything to you seem out of the ordinary for a typical date night?
No.
And at some point, did you actually call and speak to your husband that evening?
Yeah, so I was on the phone with my brother, and Jared called me, and I three-way merged it. We all chatted for a little bit, and then my brother hung up to let Jared and I talk. And I remember Bexley telling me, "Mommy, we got ice cream."
So just to pause you right there.
Yeah.
When he called you, do you remember what time of night it was?
It was after 7:45 when he would have dropped the twins off at their mom's house.
And was there anybody else that you could hear in the car besides Jared Bridegan and your daughter Bexley?
No.
Were you on speakerphone?
The car phone, yes.
Okay. And just normal conversation. Was anything about that conversation unusual to you? Did Jared seem upset? Did he seem fearful? Had you have any indication that something happened out of the ordinary that date night?
No, everything seemed fine. Bexley seemed happy. She got ice cream. Like, everything seemed normal.
And during the conversation, tell us how the conversation ended. Without necessarily saying what was said, how did you get off the phone with Jared?
It was strange, and I remember feeling like it was strange because after I was like, all right, well, love you, we'll see you soon, he was just quiet. And I was like, okay, it was kind of weird, and hung up, but it was like a pause and just quiet at the end.
Do you remember what time around you got off the phone with him?
I mean, it's somewhere in between like 7:45 and 7:52 maybe.
And he had already dropped the children, your stepchildren off, and was heading home, presumably to Nocatee. You were expecting him to show up.
Yeah, he had said he was coming home.
Okay, so describe for the jury when you realized that something was not quite right.
Well, I was sitting on the couch with my parents, watching a show, and then, I'd already talked to Jared. He was on his way home. And then the time when he would usually be back passed, and I, didn't think much of it. It's like, okay, maybe hit traffic or something. And then it got a little bit later, and that's when I just had this just feel.
Did you try reaching out to him by texting him or calling him?
Yeah, I texted and called him.
Did he answer or respond?
He did not.
And what did you start doing then?
I kept calling him, and I would give it a little bit. I remember telling my parents, like, something's wrong. And they were trying to reassure me, like, it was probably fine. And I kept calling, and eventually it's, I looked on my phone, like, was there an accident? Like, is there any news report of anything that would have caused him to delay? And I couldn't find anything. Yeah.
So what did you do then?
So then I got in the car. My mom came with me. My dad stayed at the house because our daughter was asleep. And I just decided I was just going to start driving towards the beach where he would have been to see if I could see an accident or anything and find out where they're at.
Were you continuing to call him while you were driving from your home in Nocatee to Jacksonville Beach?
I was calling him from my car phone the entire drive.
Did somebody eventually answer?
Yeah.
Was it Jared?
No.
Was that person a police officer?
Yes, it was.
And after you spoke to that police officer, where did you drive to?
They told me to come to the Jacksonville Beach Police Department, and that's where I drove to.
When you arrived at the police department, did somebody advise you that your husband had been shot and killed on Sanctuary?
No, it was actually quite frustrating because they wouldn't tell me anything. I saw my daughter, and she was okay, but I asked over and over and over, and they would not tell me anything. They just kept asking me questions.
Did the police interview you, so to speak? Did they ask you questions about your background, Jared's background, his plans that night?
Yep, they asked me what he was wearing, if he had any tattoos. They asked me a lot of questions. I just remember just getting very frustrated that they were asking me things and not answering anything that I was asking of them.
Eventually, were you notified that night that your husband had died?
I was.
And that not only had died, but had been killed?
Yes, I was told that he had been shot.
Did the police give you any information about evidence or leads or suspects that evening?
No, not at all.
Did they ask you any questions about what you thought could have happened that evening?
I don't recall them asking me that, but I offered up my own ideas of just my gut instinct, but I don't remember them asking me. I don't recall if they asked me that night.
When you say you offered up, did you direct them to potentially investigate specific individuals?
I did.
And who were those individuals?
Mario Fernandez and Shanna Gardner.
During your marriage with, and I'm going to circle back to that in a moment. We're going to get to how it is you came to offer that information. During your marriage with Mr. Bridegan, did you know him to have any long-standing disputes with any individuals? Did you guys have problems with your neighbors, with trees growing into your yard, or somebody from your past that caused you problems that you were in contact with, anything like that?
No, none. Jared was the neighbor that would loan his tools or help with the project. Like, we had no issues with any neighbors, anyone that I knew of.
Did Jared have a large circle of friends?
No.
Was Jared close with his family and talked to them frequently?
In comparison to how much I talk to my family, I would say no. But
I feel like that's par for the course with husbands versus wives.
Yeah, but he did. He loved his family.
Did Jared have any hobbies that were dangerous, like skydiving or going to Vegas and gambling, driving race cars?
No.
Did he go out of town frequently?
Not unless it was a family trip.
Did he travel without you often?
No, I don't think I can recall a trip that he went on without me.
Where was he working at the time of his death?
He was working for Microsoft.
And how long had he held that job?
I believe he started there October 2021, or it was late 2021.
Where did he work before that?
He worked for Clean Simple Eats.
And what is that?
That's a health and nutrition company, like protein products, macros, meal plans type of company.
Were you working at the time of Jared's death?
No, I had resigned from my corporate job just a few weeks prior.
And was that for any particular reason?
We were comfortable on his salary, and I felt strongly about being home with our 2 young children.
Were you all in any kind of significant financial trouble or debt?
No, we were doing really well, thankfully.
Did you know Jared to use drugs or drink alcohol to excess?
No, he just really liked Coke Zero.
And you and Jared, were you actively involved in your church?
We were.
And did you bring AB and LB and your daughters with you when you went to church, if you had them that week?
We did, yeah.
To your knowledge, were Ms. Gardner and Mr. Fernandez involved in the Mormon church, or any church, really?
No, they were not.
Ms. Gardner at one point had been a member of the Mormon church. Is that true?
That's accurate.
And did you and Jared have any kind of difficulties in regards to religion and AB and LB with Ms. Gardner and Mr. Fernandez?
Yes, we did.
Was the baptism one of those difficulties?
I mean, there was a little bit of disagreement on a couple of details, but we had a conversation where we were just like, this kind of strange how calm and agreeable they were to allowing her to be baptized like that. It was very strange to us.
Did AB ever get baptized?
She did not.
We went down that route with Jared and his job at Microsoft. Do you know if he had any conflicts at work or litigation at work or HR complaints he was going through?
No, in fact, after his death, his boss and people that he managed reached out and offered condolences. They came to his funeral. Like, there was no...
Did he work at an office or did he work from home?
He worked from home.
So on the night that this happened, the police were asking questions about his background. Did you offer some of this information that evening and in the days following?
Yes, I gave him as much as I could.
Did they, in the days following Jared's death, come to your house and ask to look at your firearms and your electronic devices?
Yes, I even asked a friend to come over and help me make sure I found all of that and could give it to them in a timely manner. So yeah, they were at my house a few times.
Did they take Jared's cell phone and his laptop and his work laptop and hard drive and whatever devices that you could identify as belonging to him?
Yeah, they had the cell phone from that night. I never gave that to them. They already had it, but it's a work laptop, old computers that we had, hard drives that I found. I gave it all over.
Did you provide them with a list of passwords that you knew Jared to use?
Any and all passwords or passcodes that I knew of, I gave to them.
Did they ask at some point to rip the infotainment system out of Jared's car to see if they could get anything off of that?
Yes, they asked me to sign a release for that, and I did.
I'm going to go through a couple photographs with you. Let me find my evidence number. I'm actually going to show you two photographs. Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
First one I'm going to show you has been marked and entered into evidence as State's Exhibit 62. It's on your screen there. And this is a photograph as well. Is this your husband, Jared Bridegan?
It is.
And then I'm going to show you another photograph. This has been marked and entered into evidence as State's Exhibit 65. Is this your husband?
Yeah.
Your Honor, may I publish?
Yes.
I'm showing you what's been marked and entered into evidence as State's Exhibit 207 on your screen. Can you take a look for me, Mrs. Bridegan? Who are the individuals in this photograph?
It's Shanna Gardner and Mario Fernandez.
I'm showing you a photograph that's been marked and entered into evidence. This is an individual by the name of Henry Tenon, State's Exhibit 200. Do you recognize this person?
Only from when he was arrested.
And I'm sorry, that was a bad question on my part. Prior to your involvement, prior to Mr. Tenon's arrest in this case, prior to Jared's death, had you ever seen this person before?
No.
Had you ever been to an address at 5239 Potomac Avenue in Northwest Jacksonville, Florida?
No.
Had you and Jared ever had any work done on your home in Nocatee, like landscaping, tile work, roofing, or anything doing with pallets?
No.
I'm showing you what's been marked and entered into evidence as State's Exhibit 135. Other than in regards to this case, prior to your husband's death, had you ever seen this vehicle before?
I don't believe so.
Have you ever had work done at your house or someone visit you at your home that had a vehicle similar to this one?
No.
And prior to this case, did the name Henry Tenon mean anything to you?
No.
Did you and Jared ever contract with anyone named Henry Tenon? Did you know Jared to have a Henry Tenon in his phone contacts, his email contacts, or to have ever mentioned anyone by the name of Henry Tenon?
No.
Mrs. Bridegan, if you could look on the screen here, I'm drawing your attention to a blue flag. I'm going to circle it down here on Cumberland Park Road. This is purported to belong to a location called Elite Gymnastics. Are you familiar with that location?
Yes, that's where AB took gymnastics classes.
And this is State's Exhibit 182. So this is the gymnastics studio where AB attended gymnastics?
Yes,
This is the one that's a couple minutes from your residence.
it is.
I'll show you another photograph on State's Exhibit 182, and I have the address blacked out here for purposes of, since we're broadcasting this, but we have a blue flag, and this is here on Fresnel Street. Does that area look familiar to you, or do you know what that is depicting?
Fresnel Lane. Yeah, it's our
Fresnel
home.
Lane.
Yeah,
And what is that flag depicting?
our home.
Your home that you shared with Mr. Bridegan prior to his death?
Yes,
Do you still live in that home today?
we do.
I'm going to show you a still shot from a video that's marked and entered as State's Exhibit 1. Do you recognize the child in that video?
Yes,
Who is that?
that's Bexley, my daughter.
I'm going to show you a portion of a video that's been entered into evidence as State's Exhibit 91. This is the Jacksonville Beach Police Station. This is State's Exhibit 91, and I'm playing it at 37 minutes and 27 seconds. The timestamp is February 16th, 9:15 p.m. I'm going to play it for you, and I want to ask you if you recognize a vehicle in a moment, okay? Mrs. Bridegan, while we're watching this, we see a figure walking across the screen at 37 minutes, 47 seconds into the video. Do you recognize that person?
No.
And at 38 minutes, 29 seconds, we see a vehicle, and I've circled it here on my screen. Do you recognize that vehicle?
Yeah, I do.
Whose vehicle is that?
That's our Suburban.
And who's driving it?
I am.
And was that when you came to the Jacksonville Beach Police Station after they called you? Or after they answered the call?
Yes, it is.
State's Exhibit 35. Do you recognize this?
Yes,
What is this picture of?
the inside of our Volkswagen Atlas.
And is this car seat here that I've circled the car seat that belonged to Bexley, or the one that you used for her?
Yes, it is.
And we see here in the other part of the screen, I've circled, what is that?
That was the base for our infant carrier that London's car seat would snap into.
Mrs. Bridegan, did you remain in contact with investigators during the course of the investigation into this case?
I did.
And were you passing along information and tips that you'd heard from members of the public that you thought could help them solve this case?
Yes, as much as I could.
Mrs. Bridegan, since your husband's death, have you been able to have contact with your stepchildren, A, B, and LB?
Very limited.
Do you know where they're currently living?
Yes.
Where's that?
In Washington State.
May I have a moment with counsel, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you, Mrs. Bridegan. No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Cross-examination.
May I stay here? Or would you like me to move to the podium?
Is it going to be brief?
I think so.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Ms. Bridegan.
Good afternoon.
Sorry that you have to be here, okay?
Thank you.
I just have a few questions for you. You had mentioned during your direct examination that you thought that, or you were possibly preparing for litigation for whatever reason in and around the time of the homicide. Did I understand that correctly?
Yes.
Okay. The defense in this case, in Exhibit 1A, has put in the entire St. Johns County family law court docket. Do you know what a family law court docket is?
I'm familiar with it, yes.
Sure. So throughout being part of this litigation, you know that when you file a motion or when you have a consent order, it all gets put on the family law court docket, right?
Right.
Okay. And when, are you familiar when the case was closed?
After Jared was murdered, I'm assuming?
Well, after Jared was murdered, there was a suggestion of death, which is what lawyers do to say that one party is no longer with us. But before that, your case was closed, or meaning the case of Shanna Gardner and Jared Bridegan. Did you know that it was closed?
I don't think it's ever really closed because you can just file a motion and it starts it all up again.
It can start up again, but then they close it when you're done.
For
Would you
that
like to
point
look
in
at the
time?
docket? May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Yes.
Can you look at October 12th of 2021, where it says that a consent order was reached and the case was closed?
Hurry, this line? There's like a couple of them. Are you doing this one?
Yes, ma'am. The ones you were reporting to are later dates. I'm asking you on 10/12/2021, it suggests that a reopened case is now closed, right?
Yes, there's a couple of entries like that.
Right. Meaning in October of 2021, the family law case was closed.
It says reopened case closed, yes.
Right. Because it was reopened when Miss Gardner filed, and what's also in evidence, a mother's motion for declaratory relief. That was right below the line, correct?
I would have to, sorry, I was looking at just that line.
So we're clear. Mother filed a motion, right?
Yes,
Okay, and then right above that, the parties came to an agreement, a consent order, right?
yes,
And then the case is closed.
yes,
And that's October of 2021.
yes.
Thank you. I'm not going to be asking you very many questions, so I want to skip around. But one of the things that I thought would be important for the jury to know is that after your husband passed, the next day, did Miss Gardner invite you over into her home so that you could be present when she delivered the news to Mr. Bridegan?
She did not. I asked to be there.
Okay. And when you asked, she said yes.
That's correct.
Okay. So it came from your suggestion that you wanted to be there.
I wanted someone who loved Jared and the kids to be present when his children were informed of his murder, yes.
And they had no objection to that.
No,
And you went to the home where Miss Gardner was in Jacks Beach at Marshall Inlet, correct?
I did.
And Mr. Fernandez was there?
He was.
And Miss Gardner was there?
She was.
And you were there?
I was.
And did you bring someone with you?
I brought my dad.
and you all delivered the news together, correct?
I was present while Shanna delivered the news.
Sure.
Yes.
As you requested.
Yes.
And then lastly, Ms. Bridegan, you had suggested to the jury that on the night of the homicide, you were asked questions by law enforcement, correct?
Yes.
Right. And to your knowledge, I think you know now, none of that was recorded, correct?
I take your word for it. I don't know if it was being or not.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you taking my word for it. It wasn't recorded.
Okay.
But you did tell them in so many words, you may want to look at Shanna Gardner or Mario Fernandez.
Yeah, I believe I said something along those lines, that only people I knew had a problem with him were those two.
But you also told them that there was no violence or threats of violence that you could articulate or that you were aware of.
I don't recall if I said that night.
If you looked at a report from the police, would that refresh your recollection?
Yeah, definitely.
Hold on one second. Maybe an easier way, instead of waiting to find that report, Ms. Bridegan, you didn't articulate to them that you had been threatened by Mr. Fernandez.
No, I did not.
You didn't tell them that Shanna Gardner had threatened you or your husband, right?
Oh, no, I did not.
And that's because you had no information that they had threatened you or they had done anything violent to you or Jared Bridegan up until that night.
Correct.
You have a moment, Your Honor?
Yes.
And my last question is, when you were looking at States 91, which was a video of you pulling into the Jacks Beach police station, do you remember that video from a few moments ago?
I do, yeah.
Okay. And it's in evidence. They asked you who was driving. Do you remember that question?
Yes.
And you said that you were.
But I was.
Right.
Yes.
But when you look through the window of your vehicle, you can see there were two people in the car, correct?
Yes.
It was you in the driver's seat, and then it was a family member, I think your father in the passenger, your mother?
It was my mom.
I'm sorry, your mother was in the passenger seat. And you acknowledged that when looking at that video, you could see two people in the vehicle.
Yes.
I have no further questions.
Right. Thank you. Any redirect?
Mrs. Bridegan, this is going to be quick. Mr. Dreiser just showed you a clerk of court's record, Defense Exhibit 1A, and he showed you a portion where the case was closed because someone had filed a filing that Jared had died. Did you file that?
I did not.
Did Ms. Gardner file it?
I believe so.
In order to file that, did Ms. Gardner reach out to you to request that you give her a copy of Jared Bridegan's death certificate?
She did.
How soon after his death did she request that?
I want to say within the first 2 weeks. It's very soon.
No further questions.
May the witness be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Bridegan.
Thank you.